Ashley.
Welcome to Honest Tea Talks.
Yeah. First of all, let's start the video with letting them know what we're wearing because it does pop a lot. Like, it stands out.
Yeah. Especially this.
Yeah, I love it. And your white socks, like, I feel like it's perfect.
Yes.
So we're wearing apparel from Enteractionapparel.
Yes.
And honestly, like,
They're a great company.
they're just great.
They're
like,
so genuine.
I really don't have,
Yeah.
like, it's hard to find the words to describe these people.
Yeah.
Like, this company is just so great. They send us the best merchandise. They have the best merchandise. Super cute. I mean,
Yeah.
big. What does yours say?
Mine says brains, beauty, boobs.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you a story about this shirt
Yes.
because this is how awesome they are. They were making shirts that said brains, beauty, thighs. And I messaged them. I was like, that's super cute. Like, I wish there was one that said boobs because I don't got the thighs. I got the boobs.
Yes.
And tell me why they were like, what size? And sent me this.
They made it.
They made it for me.
They
So
made it.
they're great. Message them on Instagram. They're honest and genuine people.
And like they love making people happy.
Yeah.
And that obviously we love that. Like that's what we do.
That's what we're
on a
about.
daily
Yes.
basis. That's our mission, and like to collaborate with people that are on the same mission is just absolutely incredible. And
Yeah.
so we wanted to take some time to share that with you guys because we truly
Yes.
love them. And
Yes. They're
we
great.
will leave the link in the description
Yes.
box so that you guys can check them out.
Yep.
And along with their Instagram
Mhm.
because they're great.
Yeah.
So
On that note,
we are talking about double standards today.
Yes.
Ooh, a juicy topic.
It's
Ooh.
a thick topic.
Oh!
I don't know why. Subliminal messaging. There you go.
Oh, you love
Because
it.
when I think of double standards, I think of the culture I grew up in. Because
Oh.
I was raised Indian. A girl. I was raised an Indian girl. I was raised in an Indian family. I have a brother, and everything about growing up in an Indian household was, it's okay if the boys do it, but girls you're not allowed to. Because you eventually have to get married, and not like the boys don't get married, but like there's just something about that mentality that's just, it's annoying as F.
Yes. Yes. And so I love this topic so much because I very much broke that norm in my family and how I grew up
Totally.
because I was raised by a single mom that was very feminine. My mom is very feminine, very like, oh, baby, you know? And I'm very big on masculine energy. I'm very feminine, obviously, as well, but I'm like tough. And I grew up doing all of the things in the household. It wasn't like I only cooked and cleaned. I cooked, cleaned, washed, took out the trash, mowed the lawn, like cleaned the yard. I did the dirty work. I fixed the things if they were broken. I fixed my own flat tire. If I got a flat tire, like I wouldn't call anyone to help me. Like I would do it on my own. And so I didn't grow up with like masculine and feminine rules. Like I did both. And so when I was expected to follow certain standards because of the fact that I was a woman, I was like, no. And it just, I feel like everyone deals with it. Regardless of whether you are a man or a woman, everyone has to deal with double standards. And we wanted to talk about it in a very general way.
Yeah.
And not in a victim way.
Yeah.
Not like, we are women, poor us.
No.
But like, what do women have to deal with and what do men have to deal with these double standards? Because we all go through certain difficulties because of it.
Yeah, like part of the flip, if you flip the script, is that men, and this is something I've had conversations about with guys, is that they're seen as weak if they talk about their emotions or if they want to express their feelings, and men these days need to know that it's okay.
Absolutely.
Like, that's something that helps build a strong foundation within a relationship, is that communication and being able to express yourself freely from both people.
Totally. It's double standards are something we all deal with, and I think that because women have dealt with a lot of things that have set them apart from men, they think they're the only ones that go through double standards, and it's not true.
No.
Like, it is difficult for guys to express themselves. And not only guys, I don't mean like gender specific. I mean like masculine energies. Like if you are even a female that has more masculine energy, it is going to be difficult for you to express yourself and cry if you need to, because you feel like you need to be the strong masculine energy.
Yep.
And even I struggled with that, because it was like, well, what energy do I have more of if I'm like tough and rough and I take care of myself, I'm independent, I don't need anybody. But it's like at the same time I'm like going through it, and I need support, and I need love, and I want to cry, and I'm suffering. So it's like, you, regardless of whether you are a woman or not, if you have a lot of masculine energy or feminine energy, you want to know that you can express yourself and not have these standards and have to like uphold them. You know, it's like, oh, I'm a man, you know, so I can't cry and express myself and express my femininity, because what if people think certain things about me? And it's like, men go through that. Women that are more masculine go through that. And so we wanted to talk about the things that we all struggle with because of these double standards.
Yeah, and it also happens in occupations. We were talking the other day about how the face of customer service, or the first face you're going to see when you walk into something, has always been, for the most part, a female, because people want someone enticing, attractive to lure people in. And so the opposite gender, you know, men, if they want to play the part or apply for the same job, are usually pushed away from it because they don't want a guy in the front, you know, and
especially if a guy is hiring.
And they could probably have more experience and talent doing it, and they will still get overlooked because they're a guy versus a female, and vice versa when it comes to
certain roles.
High power positions within like companies. Like you see men more there because men are considered to be like ruthless almost, to be able to make it up there, whereas females get dealt with the whole you're emotional and and it's like,
well, you think of salesmen, and you think of a salesman, right? You're like, well, who's gonna convince me? Not a woman, right? So it's like that applies for both situations. It's like, yes, women, if they're attractive, they have a higher chance of getting the job depending on the job. And when the roles are flipped, if it's like a more powerful role, men have more of, like, you know, police officers. It's like, okay, well, you were looking for someone that's strong. When a woman can be just as strong, right? But they're searching for a specific person for the job, and they're also going to pay a specific thing for the job and what they're doing. And that is where that double standard affects both sides of the party. Another thing that we talked about, which is a huge thing that we always talk about, our girlfriends always talk about it, and I've talked to my guy friends about this before, is like sex, and how it's totally like just different for men and women, and how like it's totally applauded for a guy to sleep with multiple women. Like, damn, oh my god, like, shit, we get the best friend.
Oh my god, you're awesome.
Oh my god,
you're great.
Damn. And then it's like a girl does it, and it's like,
she's slut shamed.
What? You slept with how many people? Like, I don't understand.
Both sexes have a sex drive.
Totally.
Like, and women can just as much have a revved up sex drive as a man.
Most definitely.
You know, so.
And I also wanted to mention that guys don't have to have a high sex drive.
No.
Because although, yes, I'm talking about it as a woman and saying, like, why should I be ashamed of sleeping with multiple men, or even with one man consistently? But at the same time, like, don't you think that some guys feel like they need to up their game if they're around a group of guys that are all sleeping with a whole bunch of women, and they don't feel that drive? They don't want to sleep with a whole bunch of women. They want to be tied down. But then because they're men, they are like, oh shit, well, should I be dogging women? Like, because my homeboys are doing it and they're cool, right? If they do it, so I'm not cool if I don't. It's like, yes, it's hard for women, but it's also hard for men, because then they're expected to be this person, this like man, what is it? not man eater.
No.
Man whore.
Yeah.
Well, it's like not even a man whore. Like they have. If you don't have a sex drive like that, or you're not interested in sleeping with multiple women as a man, then don't. Like you don't have to.
That's okay.
And the same, like I've also talked to women that see themselves as like this masculine energy, right? This masculine person, even though they have feminine body parts. And they are like, well, I felt like I had to kind of have like side pieces, you know, like I have multiple women, and it's like sex becomes a game.
Yeah.
It becomes like, oh, haha, I got another one today. I got her. And it's like still that toxic masculine energy, because you feel like that's what you gotta do to be this like God almost, you know, like, oh, I have brownie points if I accumulate all these women that I've slept with.
Yeah.
And so it's not only men specifically in the gender perspective, but like women that have a high sex drive, that are sleeping with multiple women, but because they feel like
or even
they
with
have
multiple
to.
men, yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, don't do it because you're trying to show off in front of your friends or be like them. Like, be true to yourself. Like, if you have a high sex drive, own it and just do it. Be safe, be protected, and do what you got to do, and make sure you find someone who understands where you're coming from and what you expect, because that's in line with what you want. But don't just do it to hurt other people. Don't do it to try to fit in with the crowd. Be your authentic self. Fine, and if that means just being with one person, that's okay. Like that, who cares what the other dudes or girls are saying?
Or be with no one.
Or be with no one.
Being abstinent. Totally.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be, like if you don't want to sleep with anyone, then don't sleep with anyone.
I've been abstinent for many
months. When her voice like
many months.
You know those memes.
It's been so yeah.
And that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. If you want to do that, don't criticize yourself or other people for doing that. And I've always been a person to have more guy friends than girlfriends, because I just relate to guys more. Like I like the conversations that guys have. I like that a lot of guys are honest and genuine, and they just tell you how it is, and they don't have ulterior motives for your friendship. They're just like, yo, what's up? And I really appreciate that. And I have had many guy friends that, since they feel comfortable with me, because I also still am a woman, they'll tell me like, earlier I was like bragging about how I slept with this girl and that girl, but really I just want to be in love. And it's like, well, why aren't you being honest about that?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to find the one if you're not being honest about what you truly desire as a man or a woman?
Yeah.
You putting out this person that you're not isn't going to allow you to attract what you really desire.
Yeah.
And we all go through that. Like, yes, it isn't fair for women to feel ashamed when they're sleeping with multiple men because they have a high sex drive, or because they want to have sex all the time, because they just want to, and just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you can't do that.
Yeah.
That standard shouldn't exist. But for men as well, the standard of like, oh, I need to be a player shouldn't exist either. They don't need to be players, and it's been accepted, it's been a norm for such a long time, which is why we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Because if you want it to be a norm for you, then let it be a norm for you. But don't make other people feel like, I have also been around guys where it's like, oh, you didn't sleep with her? Like, wow, like you were in a room with her by yourself and you didn't get it? Like, what a loser, right? And then they're making this poor guy feel bad because he didn't do something that he didn't want to do. So it's one of those things where it's like, I've been in that situation, and I've also been in a situation where a girl's like, oh, I slept with him, and they're like, wow, what a slut, right? And it's like, you can't make someone feel bad for what they want or don't want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. What else is a double standard? What else do you think we deal with as women, or that men may deal with because they're men, or just people in general?
Oh, you know what? I think the other double standard topic to talk about is like single moms versus single dads.
Oh,
because a lot of times single moms are downing the dad.
I love
But
this. Yes.
we also don't take into consideration how many single dads there are out there dealing. You don't hear them downing the mother of their child,
Yes.
but you do hear the opposite more often, and I think that's wrong.
I agree. I love that you brought that up because I have seen a lot of incredible single fathers be nothing but unconditional with their kids, hardworking, loving. I think that what goes hand in hand with that is also stay-at-home dads.
Yeah. Yes.
If you are a stay-at-home dad, like that is beautiful, and you are not expected to be the bread giver if that's not what you want to do. If you want to be
breadwinner.
You're not expected to bring home the bacon.
That was good.
Yes. If you are a man that wants to be home with his kids, that is a beautiful thing. And some women out there are workers. They want to work. They want to grind. They want to be out there independent. They don't want to stay home with their kids. Yeah. And they want to bring home
the best example, which was my favorite, is the movie Blockers. Well, Cock Blockers. It has John Cena, and John Cena is the stay-at-home dad, and his wife is the empowered woman earning the money.
Yes, and I love that.
Yeah,
that does happen, and that's a beautiful thing. And I think if you're a single dad, own it. And as a woman, if you're a single mom, don't down men. Yeah, just because is there a history of a lot of men abandoning their children? Yes, but women do it too. Women very much abandon and reject and neglect their kids. And so I have personally worked with the kids that I've been contracted with men that are just unconditional, loving, and hardworking. They work and have to find time to be there for their kids emotionally, but because the mother's not around. And so it's definitely something that we
I guess
respect.
If I were to give advice to a single mom who I do notice downing the baby daddy or whatever, use that energy into yourself. Use that energy into your child. Don't go talking negative about that person and wanting to play that victim woe is me mentality. Use your power. Your voice, your words are your power. So spewing negativity isn't going to change the situation you're in. So try to flip it and put positive feedback into yourself and own the fact that wow, you're independent and you're taking care of your kid, and you be proud of yourself for doing what you're doing. But and feed that into your child. But there's no reason that you should, at one point you love that person because you love them enough to create a child with them. So there shouldn't be any negativity spewing towards that person.
And even if you didn't really love the person and whoops, it happened, it's there's nothing you gain or the child gains from you spewing negativity. Exactly. There's really nothing good that can come from that. Yeah. And so you have to just give positivity in the directions that make sense for that kid and for yourself. Yep. And I think what's important too is a lot of times the reason that guys, aren't there for their kids is they don't know how to be that emotional stability for their kids, and they think that that's where the mother comes in because of those double standards.
Exactly. They were never taught.
They weren't taught. The girls are sensitive, right? So if I have a girl, how am I going to provide that for this girl when it's men have emotions. Yeah. They do, and they feel, and they're compassionate, and they cry. They feel anger and pain and sensitivity. And so it's you can be that father for that child and not have to worry about not providing enough for that child because you're not the woman figure in their life. Exactly. And so I guess the most important part about double standards, regardless of the actual gender, regardless of the actual situation, whether it be jobs, whether it be sex, whether it be relationships, parenting, is understanding that you have to be true to what you feel and who you are. Exactly. If you want to have sex, understand that you may be shamed for it, but that doesn't have anything to do with what you should and shouldn't do. Exactly. The reason people shame other people is because of these norms that continue existing, and in order for them to change, you have to be yourself, 100% authentic. Authentic. It always happens to me. Authentically. And people will appreciate that. Yeah. And eventually it will change. But if you don't stand for what you are and what you believe, then how will that change? Exactly. Same with you know, the guys that we've talked to that we know are sensitive men and that are like, hey, you know, like more feminine in their persona and in their energy, they're still very masculine, very much great fathers, and they are very great men, and they get to express themselves and be themselves and feel comfortable with being themselves, and it makes you find your tribe. Like, you find more people that are like-minded to you if you get to be yourself and you're not acting hard.
And like she said, just be your authentic self. Be true to who you are. Like, there's nothing more attractive than honesty. And I'm going to use the example of a few months ago, I went on a few dates with a gentleman, and we totally hit it off, and it was great. And then along the line, we're both dating, right? When you're dating, you're not tied down to one person. And he was dating someone else who was a friend of his, and he was honest enough with me to tell me that he cannot date two women at one time, and he wanted to see where things went with the other woman. So I literally couldn't be happier because he was honest with me.
Yeah.
Like, right off the bat, and, you know, totally told me it had nothing to do with me. It was just literally him and who he is as a man, that he can't do that. And that was it. Like, and I took it. Beautiful. It truly was beautiful.
And it's coming from a man.
Exactly.
So it's like, that is important to see that there are people out there that are true to themselves enough to say, like, look, maybe other guys can date more than one person.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of those guys.
Exactly.
And I think you deserve the truth.
Exactly.
And this is the truth.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you're one of those guys or girls that feels like you're just not a person that can date multiple people,
that's okay.
then it's okay.
Yeah.
Be proud of that, and be that, and let that truth come out so that people actually know who you are and whether they're a match with you or not.
Exactly.
That's the only way you know if you're a match with another person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was a pretty great description of what we feel about double standards. If you feel some type of way or want us to go in depth with certain things, then leave comments down below. Let us know what you think. How do you feel double standards have affected you? Let us know how it affects you or has affected you in the past.
Let's be the change.
Yeah.
Like, let's be the people that change the double standard and make it disappear.
Totally. I don't agree with most double standards.
Yeah.
But we're living in our truth, and I very much am like okay with what I enjoy and what I like, and I'm not ashamed of it. And it's taken a long time to get there.
Oh, totally.
And same with my friends. I've seen my friends evolve and be more open with who they are and with their sensitivity and self-love. Guys need love too. They need self-love too. And we will make another video on that.
Yes.
Because that in itself, I think, is expanding.
It's important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.